to A Stylish Life. I'm Shakayla Edie. Today I'm going to be giving you some tips on going back to school since it is back to school time. It is the 22nd. So for the most part, everybody is either back in school. If you're like down south, I know they go back to school early, or you go back to school within the next week or two. So this is mainly college gear because I am a college student. I'm an upcoming senior. So it's more college gear, but I'm pretty sure everybody can take bits and pieces of it and use it, when they need it, especially if you're in high school. I mean, it's not that far off. You can use it because you're going to be going to college soon anyway. But let's get started. So it's no particular order, kind of just going off the top of my head on what I feel is important or what I wish somebody would have told me, because I'm a first generation college student, so I didn't really have anybody that I could really ask too many questions to. I kind of just had to learn by doing. So I'm going to teach you what I know so that you have a little bit more knowledge on certain things. So one tip that I'm going to start off with is financial aid and making sure that your funds are secure for school. So I know that with my school in particular, they send out, once we do our FAFSA, and I think you can do it as early as January or before then. I don't really remember. But after we do that, they send us our award letters. And our award letters just basically tells us what funds we're getting and how much. So it'll list to you, if you're getting a subsidized loan or an unsubsidized loan, or you're getting any grants, or if you're getting any scholarships, and if so, how much. And it'll separate it by semester. Because say, for instance, you get a scholarship for $30,000, it's going to be $15,000 per semester. Or say, for instance, you need to take out a loan and you need a loan for $9,000 a semester. You wouldn't take out $9,000 total, because they're going to cut that in half, and it's going to be $4,500. You would ask for $18,000, and they would split it by 9 each semester. If you didn't know that, that's a tip for you. But basically just making sure that your aid is good, and making sure that you're getting how much you need to have all of your tuition and room and board or books or whatever paid in a timely manner, so that you have no surprises and you're not on your way back to school and you're stressed out, because now you have to figure out, what you're gonna do. Financial aid offices at schools aren't usually that helpful, because most times it's students working there, or you have staff that work there, but they aren't the ones who are giving out the aid. So really, they're just the middleman between you and the Department of Education. So I usually check around June or July. Check maybe June, and then maybe second week of July, just to make sure that you're getting all of your aid, and to make sure that you don't need any extra money. And if you do, you have time, because it is only July. Just make sure that you are giving yourself enough time, and that you are aware and keeping track of making sure you're getting all of your money. Okay, so I know that with my school, on our website, we can go to our aid and we can see what we're getting, basically an award letter, like I was just explaining, what you're getting, when it might disperse, how much you're going to get, how much each semester. Just go check that and make sure that you have all the money that you're getting. Don't get confused on your award letter, because sometimes they might add a plus loan or something in there with an amount, but that's not saying you're receiving it. That's telling you that's the loan amount that you need to go apply for, because you have to, the only aid that you have to reapply for every year, if it's not a scholarship that's only once a year, is your plus loans. If you're getting parent plus loans, you have to reapply for those every year. Don't get confused on your award letter just because it's there. You do have to reapply for it. You don't automatically get a parent plus loan. You have, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, you have to reapply every year. Let me say it slowly. You have to but for real, you have to reapply every year. I don't want you to get to August, school starting September 4th, and you I thought I had this and that, because you didn't look from the time that you did your FAFSA to the time that it was time to go back to school. So now it's time to go back to school and you over here looking crazy. So tip number one, and one big main point, make sure you're securing your funds in a timely manner. I'm going to say it again. Make sure you're securing your funds in a timely manner so that you can do what you have to do if you are missing money. Okay? Now, tip number two. If you go to school out of state, it might be smarter for you to go grocery shopping in your hometown because things might be cheaper, or you might be able to get more for your money. You might not have a car, so you might not have access to get to the stores you usually shop at, or the stores that you and your family usually shop at aren't in the city that your school is in. For me, for example, I go to school in Chicago. In Chicago, they have a grocery store called Jewel Osco, which is similar to a Kroger. But they don't have a Walmart too close by. They have Walmart, but it's not close by, especially for somebody who doesn't have a car. It's not that close by. They don't have a Meijer. They don't have, well, they have Targets on every corner, but they don't have the main grocery stores. I know my mom, she goes to like 3 to 4 different grocery stores because she gets different things from each of them. They don't have a Sam's Club. They have one, but it ain't necessarily in Chicago. Like, it's probably like a 30-40 minute drive to get to Sam's Club, and you want to buy things like butter or cases of water or big bulk things like that from Sam's Club because it's cheaper and you get more for your money. So a tip is to grocery shop before you go back to school. What I do is I grocery shop, I freeze the stuff for a few days, and then we usually either sometimes take a cooler, or like the insulated bags, I get them from Sam's Club. They're $6 and you can fit so much stuff in them. I wish I had one with me so I could show you guys, but it's like this big, 2 handles. It's insulated so it keeps the food cold. You just have to make sure you freeze it for it to really stay cold. And I transport it that way. That way, you know, I have food all the way up until Christmas when it's time to come back home. And then during Christmas, I go grocery shopping again and I take more stuff with me. The only things that I really have to shop for between the times that I go home for break is stuff like, you know, fruit or like things that can go bad. But big bulky things or things that last longer, I don't really have to shop for those again until I come home for Christmas. And then after that, when I go shopping during Christmas, I don't have to buy those things again until that next September, because in May I'm going home anyway. But so number 2, go grocery shopping in your hometown because it might be cheaper. So tip number 3 is making sure that if you need books, you get your books ahead of time so that you're not crammed trying to pay for books all at one time when you have to move in. You know, you might have other expenses because it's right back to school. So make sure that you're checking to see what you need before you go back, and don't wait until the last minute. So if you need school supplies, or you need, you know, a new laptop, or, you know, just anything, a new laptop or something, you can get that ahead of time. Or if you need, what's something else big that you might need? Like I said, textbooks. Some books cost like $200. So maybe you want to set that aside during the summer because, you know, not everybody who's in college works. So you might not have money already, and then now you got to come out of $200 for a book. And some books you can't just not buy. Now, me personally, I don't buy books. I haven't bought a book since my freshman year. I learned my lesson a long time ago, and I'm becoming a senior, like I said. Only books I had to buy was like your online course. And it's not necessarily an online course. You actually go to a class, but all of your work is in an online website, and you have to pay for it. Like for accounting and finance, for accounting, the book was $140. And then I took finance that next semester, it was $140 again. But I know someone who had to take a Spanish class, and they had an online, like basically what I was just talking about, the online, I don't really know what to call it, like an ebook, I guess, but not really an ebook, an online course book, and it was $300. What? No, like, no. No, 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 no. And I don't think that these schools realize that you asking for all this money for these books. Some people don't have a job, or they might not have parents. They might be doing everything on their own, and they don't just have that money to just spend. So you asking for $300 for a book, and everybody already paying an arm and a leg just to attend the school. Like, come on, be a little bit smarter. Some things I know they can't help because some books just don't get cheaper, and they don't make the books. I mean, some teachers at my school make books, but like the important books and stuff like that, you know, they might not have a better access or resource, so they really can't get those prices lower. So just kind of plan ahead of time, that way you don't have to come out of a bunch of money at once. So tip number 3 was plan ahead. Get what you need before the last minute. So tip number 1 was secure your funds in a timely manner. Tip number 2 was go grocery shopping at home because it may be cheaper. Tip number 3 was plan ahead because you might need to buy books, and just make sure you have some money set aside to get those things. No, some people don't like to work during school because they can't focus on both things. I mean, I can't really relate because I've been working 40 plus hours a week since I was in high school. So I can't really relate. But if that's your situation, when you come home for the summer, you need to make sure you get a job. Definitely. You can't just depend on whoever to continue to give you money, because you might need something and they might not have it. So when you come home for the summer, stack up. If you're not going to school during summer, taking summer classes, what else are you doing? You trying to hang out with some friends? Like, do that later. You don't get paid to hang out with your friends. Today you get paid to hang out with your friends, you ain't gonna have nothing to worry about. But today you don't get paid to hang out with your friends. So go get a job. Okay. So tip number 4. Like I said, y'all, I'm going off the top of my head. So what's another tip that is very, very, very important? Oh, toiletries. This kind of falls into the grocery shopping at home, but toiletries. If you have your own apartment or whatever, if you have a dorm, you probably, unless it's like a community dorm, you probably have to buy toilet paper and tissue yourself. But go to Sam's Club. Most things you can get, actually, I'm sorry, not Sam's Club. Go to Target. That's where I get, you know, my paper towel and my toilet paper, and I get so much at one time. And it's beneficial because I'm the only one using it, so therefore it's going to last me a while, and I don't have to be going to, like, you know, a store that might have it but more expensive and getting less for my money. Like in Chicago, I could go to a Target, but trust me, Chicago is much more expensive than Detroit. So me getting a lot of things from Chicago is kind of like a waste because it's so expensive. And it's just not worth it. Sorry, y'all, if the lighting is pretty off. But, yeah. Another tip, though, is... Let me turn the light on. Is this good? Oh, yeah. I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago. Do I like this? No, I don't. Change my mind. I'm indecisive, so I guess we just kind of gonna be in the dark. But, another tip that I can give is, oh, ladies, you know, we like to do our hair, we like to be cute, blah, blah, blah. One thing that I do that really helps me is going to the beauty supply store before I go back to school and stocking up, because your good Judy beauty supply store at home might not be where you're going if you're going away to school. So stock up on all the things you need. Like I buy a new brush, a new comb, a new bonnet, rubber bands, scrunchies, eco styler, all the products that I need. I buy them at home at the beauty supply store and take them with me because, like I said, it is more expensive. especially where I am, it's more expensive. So it makes more sense for me to stock up at home, which makes it less of a hassle for me to buy things when I get to school. And if you don't have a car and you don't have these stores around you, it's also more beneficial because you don't have that accessibility. You don't have the transportation to get there. Or even if you have the transportation, it might not be close, so you don't even want to drive even if you got a car. But yeah, so tip number 1 was secure your funds ahead of time. Tip number 2 was go grocery shopping at home because it might be less expensive. Tip number 3 is plan ahead because you might have expenses that you need to pay for and you don't want to come out the money all at one time. Tip number, was it 4? No, it was 5. Whatever. Tip 4 or 5. What was the tip 4 or 5? Oh, make sure that you stock up before you go back to school because like I said, things might be more expensive and less accessible. So now into the actual like school stuff. Tip number 6, get involved. Get involved from day 1 if you really can. Find clubs that you like. Find some friends that you like to hang out with. Do things that you like to do. Being in college is a time to really have fun. So find things that you like to do. Find yourself. Start a business or something that you always wanted to do because now you have more resources in a sense because you have people who you can just ask to actually help you. Like at my school, I go to an art school and all of my professors or all the teachers that work at my school are pretty much still in their field. So we're learning off of firsthand experience and not off of out of a textbook. So if I'm starting something now, I could just ask them if I really want to. So start something that you want and just basically live your best life. This is what this tip is. Live your best life. Tip number 6, live your best life. Okay? So tip number 7. Tip number 7 is to keep your grades up. I know a lot of people have a whole lot of fun their freshman year and it messes up your GPA. In college, it's very, very hard for you to change your GPA. You might get, like a really bad GPA your freshman year or something, and then you get a 4.0 your next semester. Your cumulative is not going to change that much. It's only going to change a little bit. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So just keep your head screwed on straight. Like, by all means, like I said, have fun, live your best life. College is the time for that, but don't lose sight of the reason why you're in college at all. Because if you just wanted to party, you could have stayed at home. So, tip number 8 is to get internships. Not necessarily, scratch that. Tip number 8 is to make sure that you're getting prepared for after college life during college. So don't wait to get a resume until after you graduate. Start building that resume if you don't already have one, but start to build that resume even more and get more experience so that when you graduate, you have actual things to boast about. Get internships. If your school isn't offering it, don't sit there and cry. Go and get them. I've had I think 4 internships throughout my college life, and my school didn't get those for me. I went and found those myself. Not to say that my school didn't offer it, but I went and got them myself because I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was looking for, and I wasn't afraid to ask for it. So email people. If you find somebody on Instagram who you really like and you love their business and so on and so forth, ask them, can I, shadow you, or do you want to intern? Not even really asking for anything in return, but that they have something that you admire or that you like. So go ahead and reach out to them because you can probably learn from them, and they're going through it currently, so they might be able to teach you something that you didn't know before. I'm gonna turn this light on because it's really dark in here, but they might be able to teach you something that you didn't know before. So don't be afraid to get that experience. Find things that you can get involved in that will boost your resume as well. Look on Indeed, see if your school offers, jobs or internships that might be beneficial to your major or what you want to do when you leave college. But please do not wait to leave college to get serious. College is not the time just for you to learn. College, people think that college is meant for somebody to hold your hand and guide you through life. That's not what that is. If you wanted somebody to hold your hand and guide you through life, you should have went to daycare, not college. But get it together while you're in college. That way when you leave college, you have a bit of a smoother path. Things don't always go as we plan, but at least if you have a knowledge of something before you fully get into it, then you know what you could try or what you could do instead of something else. And if you fail, at least you tried, at least you gave your best, instead of just going into something like, okay, you know, we'll just see how it goes, whatever. Like, no. So tip number 9 is to always stay safe. When you're going to parties, when you're, you know, if you commute, if you're walking around campus, be safe. I do a lot of things by myself, and it's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you are, what's the word I'm looking for? That you are conscious of your surroundings. That if you're going somewhere and you are looking at directions, make sure that if you're looking at Google Maps, you're still, you know, observant of where you're going, or you look over your directions before you head to that spot. But just be safe. That's just one thing I want to add. You guys don't necessarily have to take it as a tip, but just to let you guys know, just be safe. Like, just be aware of your surroundings. Don't allow for anybody to be able to take advantage of you. Just make sure that you're on your P's and Q's. Not saying be uptight, but just be smart. And tip number 10, my last tip. I'm gonna make it a good one. What should I tell you? Oh, number 10, build a good work ethic. If you don't already have it, build it while you're in school. Work hard. There might always be somebody smarter than you or prettier than you or whatever. Somebody might be able to do something better than that I love better than I can. They might look better than me. They might sound better than me, whatever. But nobody in this world, nobody can outwork me. And I will put that on my life. Nobody can outwork me. And somebody might think that they can, but I'm confident enough to know that nobody can outwork me. Nobody can take away from me that I work hard. So, and nobody can say that I don't. You won't, even if somebody doesn't like me, you won't come across a person who doesn't say that I work hard. And it's not that, you know, I'm boasting or I'm bragging, but it's just something that I know for a fact. And it's something that I'm confident enough to say out loud, that I work hard, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm never ashamed to get what I want and go for it and make things happen. I make things shake. So while you're in college, build a good work ethic, because success isn't just about money or how far you can get, but it's also about how you treat people and how you work. When somebody is referring you, they might not know what you look like. They might not know who you are. But one thing that you want to stick with them is how you treat people and how hard you work and what your work ethic is like. So always be mindful and don't be lazy, and just be conscious that you need to work hard. College is time for some play, but you have to work even harder. Work hard, play hard. Okay, so those are 10 tips. I hope that they helped you out. If you have any other tips you want to share, comment them below. And happy back to school time. I wish everybody a good semester and great grades. I hope that you are ready to go back to school. But see you later.